For the past few weeks, I've been playing in woods that are a little bit thicker than this, so I've thrown my go-to fairway drivers into the woods and never found them again. So that led me to being here in Grand Rapids. I picked up a bunch of evaders, which is dynamic discs, kind of T-Bird 3 Explorer. I don't know what it is in Discraft, maybe the Athena, which is coming out. It's their 7 or 8 speed, 4 or 5 glide, 0 turn, 2 to 3 fade disc. And I have like 6 or 7 of them. I'm trying to figure out how they all fly. And that honestly brought me to an interesting revelation, because I'm pretty sure that these Ricky Wysocki evaders fly very differently than just the stock evaders. I do have misprints here. They're just double stamped, but they're just stock evaders. They're not gonna fly any differently because Dynamic accidentally printed 2 stamps on them. I don't know. We're gonna compare this one, which I just bought new, which is just the standard lucid plastic. This one, which I also just bought new. And then this one, which I was able to buy used, but I don't know how many trees the guy before me threw it into. We'll be able to see how they all fly differently and if one is more overstable than the other. If you're new to the channel, my name is Anthony. I've been playing disc golf for only about 7 months, but I have a goal to not only beat par at over 100 courses as I travel full time and live in a van, but also to play and cash at a Pro Tour event. We'll see how good I can get. Subscribe if you want to follow that journey. So here we are at hole 9. I think it's Old Farm course, 335 feet all the way down to the basket. And this is a hole that nowadays I might be picking up a mid-range to try to get there, but I think a fairway is also a really good option. But first, let's just take a look at how they look and feel. Because one thing that you'll notice straight off the bat is that they're all slightly domey. As you can see there, that's the Lucid Ice maybe. This is just the normal Lucid Evader. But once you get to these Ricky Evaders, the dome just kind of goes next level, and they're super, super domey, which I thought would make them fly a little further, but I think actually makes them slightly more overstable. And just for all you pop top lovers. And if you put them up against each other, you can definitely tell that the Ricky one is much domier. And it's honestly a little bit more stiff than this stock run is. So it's a little bit harder to bend, which might make it slightly more overstable, but let's get a couple of throws in. All right, as you can see, we got a little bit of a slope right here. I'm gonna do my best to release these all flat with about 80 to 85% power, so it's hard, but not like too hard. I don't think any of them will turn except maybe this weird Lucid Ice one, but we're not gonna be aiming for the basket. I'm just gonna try to throw them flat in the same direction every time so we can get a good overlap of what these flights will do. It's a little nose up, which is hard not to be over this mound. Honestly, pretty good toss. I'm not mad about it. I'm gonna try to just recreate that same throw with all these. A little bit lower, but that one also, I have been throwing a little bit more. It's probably gonna be a little further because it's a little bit flippier, even though both of those are new. Now we're going Ricky, blue, new Evader. Maybe hit like 2 trees with it so far, which is good. That one just wants to start going left way harder. Look at that. That's so much farther left. And now we'll get to see how many trees the other guy hit with this one. It feels very new. I bought 2 of these used ones for 10 bucks each. This is awesome. Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit, definitely a little bit more beat in. As you can tell, it glides a little bit more as it goes out. Arm's also warming up a bit, so let's see how far those all are and maybe try to throw them. I forgot I'm short and I put that up high, and maybe try to throw them back on a forehand and see how that forehand flies. I felt like that was honestly a pretty good representation of how those are gonna fly. You'll see that the stock run stayed in the air the longest because it's the glidiest. The new Sockibomb Evader did not want to stay in the air very long, but the used one stayed a little bit longer up there because it's more beat in. Pretty solid distance, not throwing super, super hard. It's about what I'd expect. Maybe honestly a little bit less than what I'm normally expecting for my fairway drivers. But let's go on to this next hole, which is also just straightforward, and see how they throw on a forehand line. Then we'll see if we can work them on anhyzer, because I don't think we really need to try it on like a spike hyzer, because they're pretty stable as it is. This hole is 341 feet all the way up there, which honestly for my forehand is a little bit out of range of fit. But we're just gonna see how these feel on forehand and how they react differently to a flat forehand throw, which is gonna be a little bit harder for me to be consistent at. First, again, stock Evader. So definitely some off-axis torque, but it does want to move left a tiny bit. I think this is gonna want to really fight right out of my hand. Okay, definitely threw that on some anhyzer to account for that, but they don't feel great. They don't feel bad on a forehand, but the fact that they all have that dome makes me a little less likely to want to forehand them than like a bored flat disc would be. And I'm wondering if as they beat in, if that dome will sink a little bit. If all these were a little flatter, I'd be stoked. Now let's check out how all 4 of these hold turnover lines. But this is also going to be the start of a 5-hole challenge to end the video. New Sockibomb versus new Lucid. See how they fare against one another over 5 holes. 3 holes that I know are perfect for these guys, and then the next 2 holes I have no idea what they are, so they might be terrible holes, but I doubt it. This is a pretty short, fun little course. And we're gonna start this one with the stock run evader, which I think if I throw Annie, should hold it. Oh, I threw a nose up, and there is a crosswind right to left. So that's a great demonstration. It's in the same spot as it was last time. I think these are more stable than I give them credit for. That might have been more my fault than the winds. We're really gonna put this over on Annie and make sure to throw it nose down. Much better. Oh, that's a really nice flight. Go in the basket. Oh, that went right over the basket. I think I don't like those because they're so pop-toppy, but they're really good discs. We're gonna try the other 2. The key to these, which I didn't do on the first one, is keeping the nose angle down. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at how that holds that line forever. Oh my gosh, that just went almost 400 feet, I think. That almost didn't want to flex out of it at all. What a disc! Those are gone. Gotta be honest. I mean, I'm not throwing those 100% power. Just trying to smooth them around there around 75, 80%, because that's pretty typical. Like, I like throwing hard. I always like throwing hard, but I don't like overthrowing because then I throw poorly. I think definitely advantage goes to the Ricky evaders, which I didn't think would be the case at the beginning of this, but we're also in the open. In the woods, don't want something that has that much finish. Where did these 2 guys go? Holy cow, these things like to go far. And where I'm picking it up from, 380 feet. The other one, the purple one, is back here, and this one says 390. Here's the other evader, just went right over the top. Not on the path, so we're not calling it OB. See how they putt? Solid. Now where the heck is the other one? What a bad shot. You definitely can't see me. I'm like 120 feet from the basket. A little forehand evader upshot. Advantage Ricky evader. Well, 10. 341 feet. I was a little worried for them because they weren't flying how my T-bird 3s were flying, but I throw my T-bird 3s into hundreds and hundreds of trees. So I just got to throw one of these into hundreds and hundreds of trees. There's one. Got a little headwind, it feels like. This is a hike. This is probably all of 380 feet since we're going uphill. That thing blends in with the sky, sorry. That's pretty solid. Not quite up there. Now, stock evader, don't nearly need to give it that much, Annie. Yes. Oh yeah, I gave it a little hyzer, a little flip up, a little park job. Maybe short. I like to say park job, but it's probably short. Hey, if you forgot to like the video so far, now's a good time to do so. And subscribe if you'd like. But only subscribe if I make a putt. Oh, Annie. Ooh, almost made it. Oh my gosh, still subscribe please. Sorry about that performance. Don't putt with fairway drivers. Stock evader is gonna be going first on this next one. This is a fun little hole. It's a little tucked away. Path OB behind, 352. The basket is all the way in that shadow portion right there. You can probably see. This will be a good show of the hyzer of these discs, because this is a hyzer shot for sure. I maybe left it a little, nope, that's not, yeah, a little bit too left. Pretty solid though, it's probably inside the circle. Should be good. A little wider, a little higher, should be good. Not quite wider, still solid though. Go in. Oh, you always got a dream, kids. One problem that I have sometimes with these fairway drivers is I keep thinking I'm throwing a faster driver, so I don't put as much into it as I need to. Good putt. No. All right, looks like everyone's buying the Ricky evaders because they're up 2 with 2 to play. Good job, Ricky. Sponsor me. Just Ricky though, not Dynamic. All right, now we get a look at a nice short hole, 172 feet. Around the corner there. There's a little forehand hyzer line right around there to the basket. Ricky's going first this time. Honestly, I've been surprised that for a slower speed disc, the amount of skip that these guys get, because the rim is pretty sharp, is pretty significant for a 7-speed, I think. Yeah, that's the line. Skip. Oh, that's a tree. I'm gonna try to shape this one a little bit more through that gap, and then through that gap, and then back around. Probably a bad decision, but we'll see. Oh, a great decision, Anthony. Way to claw one back for the stock evaders. All right, Ricky right there. Stock is parked. Gonna need some raptor legs action right here. Let's go. What a putt. All right, it all comes down to the last hole. I'm up 2 with the Ricky evaders. We're gonna go to hole 18 because it looks fun. And I need an ace with the stock evader and then absolutely nothing with the Ricky evader. 211 feet up to the basket. No, way too, oh, wind. Oh, not nearly enough juice. Oh, that's really good though. So personally, I do definitely have a bias towards overstable discs, which is why I think I'm throwing the Ricky Evader so much better than the stock Evader. We're also not really in the woods. And in the woods, as you saw, this disc was a little bit better. But I do think it's 100% true. Sockibomb discs, at least the Evader, and I'd imagine it applies to the other Sockibomb. Like, I did also absolutely notice this with the Sockibomb Explorer that I now have. They're all a little bit more domey, and they seem to be a lot more overstable. Slammers was definitely more stable. I'd imagine because they're Ricky's discs and he throws so freaking fast, they're all going to be slightly more overstable than your typical stock runs. That being said, the Sockibomb won by 2 strokes over the stock Evader. They're both solid. Pick yours up down below if you want to. I recently got an affiliate link, so if you want to buy any discs, go on to Infinite, and if you buy stuff, you'll support the channel, and I appreciate that. If you like review videos like this, and you also like crazy overstable discs, I think you'd really like my review of the Tilt. We played a 9-hole course with that. It was my first time ever throwing it. It is certifiably insane, but to each their own. See you in the next one.